We are Black Force. We are Sun Force.
The Rays homestand at Tropicana Field continues tonight. Game 2 of the 3-game series, with the Rays playing host to the defending AL West champion Oakland Athletics. Rays opened last night's game with 4 runs in the first, went on to win it 8-3 to take game 1 of this series. Hi again, everyone, with Brian Anderson. I'm Dwayne Stats. Good to have you aboard. We'll be hearing from Todd Callis in just a few moments. Now, the Rays offense resurgent. Double figures in the hit department last night. And Evan Longoria, 4 home runs in his last 5 games.
You know, as this season started, consistency was not the problem for Evan Longoria. He's reached base safely in all 16 games for the Rays this year. However, the first 13 or so, 12 games, the power numbers were extra base hits or a lack thereof. Well, guess what? In the last 5 games, Evan Longoria has gotten it together. 4 home runs. He's driven in 6 runs. And guess what? Not surprisingly, the rest of the Rays offense has followed suit. And you've seen a resurgent offense overall. Extra base hits in their last 3 games, scoring 6 or more runs in their last 3 games, led by that gentleman right there.
Well, the Rays are getting not only home runs from the third base side, but they're getting hits from the other corner across the diamond at first base. James Loney, 7 out of his last 9. And when we come back, Todd Callis will take a look at the production of James Loney. We'll be back at Tropicana Field. First pitch and the starting lineups just around the corner.
Saturday night for Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. We had a pretty good crowd on the first Saturday of the season against the Cleveland Indians. Now against the A's, filling in pretty nicely as the Rays go for 2 in a row. And they hope to continue that hitting as of late, which has seen them score 20 runs in the last 3 games. James Loney, a big part of the offensive surge. Dwayne mentioned he is 7 for his last 9. During that time, he has seen his average go from 167 to 308. 3 of those 7 hits have come against left-hand pitchers, and 3 have also gone for extra base hits. So it's good to see James Loney producing at the plate. Derek Shelton is glad to see his first baseman hitting as well, and here are his thoughts about Loney's recent production.
Yeah, I think he's in a better spot. I think he's more in the zone, swinging at the pitches he should swing at. He's getting himself into good counts. You know, had a couple big hits in the Baltimore series, and carried over good at bat last night. So it's good to see. You know, a lot of hard work, and I think he's closer to where he has been in the past fundamentally. So I'm liking it.
James Loney will be carrying out the lineup cards for the second straight night. It created 8 runs yesterday, so they'll try and keep that tradition rolling. We have 3 minutes and 45 seconds until the first pitch, and then it'll be Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson with all the action. Enjoy the game right here on Sun Sport.
Over the past 4 outings, averaging 9.5 hits, blasting 10 home runs, and scoring 6 runs a game. Tonight, Tampa Bay's offense looks to keep the good times rolling, and right-hander Jeremy Hellickson hopes to get his first win of the young season. Rays happy to be back home off that extended road trip. Away with a victory last night, 8-3 over this same Oakland ball club. So the Rays carry a mark of 6-10 into play tonight. And Oakland off to a great start. Handed their first road loss by the Rays last evening. Overall, Oakland comes in with a record of 12-5. Day game tomorrow. And then the New York Yankees come calling for 3 starting Monday night here at Tropicana Field. But Jeremy Hellickson has on his mind this Oakland lineup. Hellickson making his 4th start of the year tonight. There go the Rays. Hellickson coming off a very good start his last time out He was very good. That curveball was a good pitch for him.
It was. 7 strong innings gave him just the 3 hits. And he was very good. He moved the fastball around. The curveball, he said that might have been the best curveball that he's had in the big leagues. And I also thought he did a better job of the changeup, particularly against the left-handed hitters and spotting it against the right-handers both in and away. You know that those numbers overall for Jeremy Hellickson will just continue to improve as long as he stays with that approach.
Joe Madden. Joe Madden, when this club was struggling, stayed with an even keel. Same thing after the victory last night. Shelley Duncan had some interesting comments. He's played for a few managers and some good ones. And he talked about how he liked Madden's approach, particularly during the slow start this club has had. He's very even-handed about everything and the same every day. And Bob Melvin, who's done a great job last year's American League Manager of the Year for the Oakland A's. And boy, what an exciting finish they had a year ago.
Well, he's much the same way, Bob Melvin. And I'm going to tell you something. As much as these players have a lot of individuality and consider themselves sometimes on an island and doing their own thing and prepare, they will, as a group, they will take on the persona of their manager. And if their manager, Joe Madden likes to keep things loose, he's very even keel, and that's how this team plays. And I think that's why over the last couple of years, you've seen some of this Rays magic coming back late in games, 9th inning comebacks. It's because they never panic. They never feel like they're out of it, and that comes right from the top dog.
Well, they had the players-only meeting yesterday, and some of the word has trickled out about what went on there, and one of them was Evan Longoria saying, look, the club's got to trust the work it's put in to get to where it's been. I thought that was a great comment by Evan Longoria.
Trust the process.
Yep. We're set to play ball, and Jeremy Hellickson set to make the first pitch. Coco Crisp in the batter's box, and the first pitch of this game is a strike call. The pitch presented by Pinch a Penny. It's a ball and a strike. Chris with a .441 on base percentage, and his slugging percentage is 3rd best in the league. So he's quite a threat here in the first opening 2 weeks of this season, leading off for the Oakland A's. He doubled and homered in the game last night. Pitch pretty close right there. And we go to 3-1. Fly ball headed toward right center. Zobrist making the call. So on a 3-1 fastball, Hellickson retires Crisp. Here's John Jaso, the former Ray. Jaso was behind the plate last night, is the designated hitter tonight.
And I think a big key for Jeremy Hellickson, much like what Alex Cobb was able to do last night against this aggressive team, off speed early for strikes, try to work ahead and take him out of the zone.
There's a first pitch strike.
That's another way to do it. First pitch fastball in. John Jaso looking for something out over the plate. But if you work ahead of this lineup, then you can expand the zone, start to take them out of their comfort zone, get weak contact. Pitch from behind, they can get you. Anybody can get you.
Curveball missed, and it's a ball and a strike. It'll be interesting to see the distribution of pitches for Hellickson here tonight, coming off that impressive outing against the Red Sox at Fenway. Close with the fastball in. 2-1, close to Jaso, that is.
Yeah, closer to Jaso than the actual strike zone.
Hey, there's a look at the lineups. 2 for the price of 1 right there.
Does it have the defense on there, please?
We're blessed to work with some of the more creative people in the truck. And they'll get that lineup to you one way or another. And not only just one, but both lineups.
Well, and let's take a look at the Rays defense as it lines up. Joyce, Jennings, and Zobrist in the outfield. Across the infield, from third to first, Longoria, Escobar, Roberts, and Loney. Molina behind the plate.
Crisp has been retired. 2-2 to Jaso, and he strikes him out. Came back with a fastball.
He did a really nice job of crowding John Jaso on this pitch right here. Started him and ended him with the fastball in. Boy, what a great spot. Above the hands and either right on the corner and right on the corner.
Yeah, that appeared to have a little movement up there, too, up and in. Not bad.
No, late action.
Now it's Seth Smith. And the first pitch strike with a fastball. We started Jaso with the fastball. Struck him out with a fastball. In fact, after falling behind Crisp, he challenged him with a fastball, got the fly ball, and a first pitch strike off a fastball to Smith. And then there's that.
And he's got one of the best changeups in the game. How about this? He puts it right in the same spot as that fastball, minus about 11 miles an hour.
Not only is Bugs Bunny one of his favorite cartoon characters, but that Bugs Bunny changeup his favorite pitch.
I knew I liked this kid.
And a foul tip strikeout. Molina hangs on. 2 strikeouts in the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Oakland A's. Rays are coming in to hit. No score. Again to Tropicana Field. Middle game of the series. Jared Parker will go to the mound, the young right-hander for Oakland.
Well, and trying to turn it around, to say he's had a rough start is an understatement. 0-2 with a 10.80 earned run average. 11 2/3 innings of work. He has allowed 33 base runners. That is a recipe for disaster.
Now 23 hits. He's walked 8 and hit 2 batters. And Desmond Jennings leads off, bouncing a foul ball. Third base side for a strike. And Parker is a big part of their pitching staff. He won 13 games for them last year.
Threw the ball very, very well. That was over 29 starts, had an ERA of 3.47.
And they do. They need to get him on track. This offense is only going to carry them so long. That pitching is going to have to get back to the level it was at last year.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Without being Captain Obvious, the problem with Jared Parker obviously has been command. Too many pitches out of the zone that are easily read by the hitter, and then the pitches in the zone catching a lot of the plate.
He picks up a strike. He missed with a breaking ball on the prior pitch and caught the corner with a fastball there. Last year, there were times when he hit the upper 90s with his velocity. And he has not consistently been there this year. Foul ball straight back. Holds the count at 1-2. Changeup could be a good pitch for him as well.
Well, and you know, in talking to the A's people, what they're saying is the fastball velocity not quite where it was, and the changeup not being used nearly as often.
Piece of that one foul. Well, Jennings has done a nice job of seeing a lot of pitches. If he's not jumping on the first pitch and hitting it out, he's done that a couple times, as he did in Baltimore. He's down in the count. This is the 6th pitch of the at-bat.
I like how Desmond picks his spots with that, because, you know, listen, these teams get these scouting reports. Desmond Jennings, he's seeing more pitches per plate appearance. He's working at bats, trying to see more pitches. Well, guys like that, you tend to think, well, maybe I could just get a meaty part of the plate, strike one, and go from there. And every once in a while, he will jump on it.
The count hangs in there at 2-2, and he's already seen, 7 pitches in this at bat. Full count.
Like even that changeup there, it didn't look like Jared Parker had a lot of confidence in throwing it. Kind of tried to feel that pitch in there, as opposed to just grip it and then throw that single thing like a 4-seam fastball.
And Jennings strikes out on a fastball. That's the first out. Rest of the lineup: Ryan Roberts hits second, then Ben Zobrist, Evan Longoria, Matt Joyce, and Shelley Duncan in there as the DH. James Loney, Jose Molina, and Yunel Escobar, 7, 8, and 9. Roberts up in the number 2 spot. He's 3 out of 6 lifetime against Parker. It's a strike. Every pitcher, it seems, goes through a period when things just don't feel right, and they do. As you pointed out a couple pitches ago, there's a high fly ball driven to center field. Chris goes back to the edge of the turf, just on the track, makes the catch. There. 2 gone.
Take a quick look at the A's defense as it lines up in the outfield, left to right. Smith, Crisp, and Reddick. Across the infield, third to first, Donaldson, Lowry, Sogard, and Moss. Derek Norris will be behind the plate.
And Ben Zobrist will step to the plate. The base is empty and 2 outs. He takes the ball. Parker in at about 6'1", 190 pounds. You think of a guy who can throw in the upper 90s as being a little bigger than that, but when he's right, he has great velocity.
Very simple delivery and quick arm. Very quick arm. He's got loose action with his finish. He can create a lot of torque, and that's what ends up happening. You know, you see some of these kids, you know, coming out of Latin America, the Dominican, Venezuela. I mean, these guys are 160 pounds soaking wet, and they're getting that ball up there with 96, 97 with movement. So, good hand speed.
Ground ball over the mound and through into center. There's a base hit for Zobrist. Rays get a base runner here in the first inning. The Rays started fast last night with 4 runs. And that's a real key for them. That's something Joe Madden preached all the way throughout spring training. Quick start to the game. You'd hope to do that and catapult them off to a quick start in the season. Now the Rays playing a little catch-up.
Now, and I thought it was imperative that first inning last night. Coming off that rough road trip, getting in late, falling behind quickly 2-0. Answering the 4 was huge.
Well, Alex Cobb touched for a couple of runs, and he said he really felt down after that.
Yeah.
And the offense really picked him up because he went right back out there and pitched well.
How about that? He did. Real, I mean, that turnaround. You know, 4 of the first 5 hitters. Base hits, 2 of them scored. Or reached base, 2 of them scored. After that, he just went to work. He was very efficient, got a ton of ground balls.
Alex, 7 1/3 last night. He has given the Rays innings in his start. Zobrist with the lead. Evans shoots it foul. And just beyond the bullpen. And he corralled it, showing some great hands. Stick-to-itiveness. Evan, they're in a good count right now against Parker. He has just 3 lifetime at-bats against him. Matt Joyce on deck. Having 1 out of 3 against Jared Parker. And the third. Donaldson takes it to Sogard at second for the force. We're through an inning from the Trop. No score. Brought to you by the Tampa Bay Times, the official newspaper of the Rays and their fans. And by Toyota. Let's go places. A 1-2-3 first for Hellickson against Oakland. We go to the second inning. Quick, get some glue for Astro's head. To strike Lowry out in front. The change up. One now. Oh, look, a preview of Astro there. Uh-oh.
Oh, he got aggressive with him. Mm-hmm. You got to be gentle with those little dogs. Uh-oh.
Yeah, trouble.
You know what? That reminds me of how Astro ended up last year. You remember that little
on the dugout?
Yeah, the little rubberized that took a savage beating hanging in the Rays dugout.
Yep. Survived that.
He did. And David nursed him back to health. But Astro, that's a tough little resilient dog.
I predict he'll be back in full force. David Price talking with Ron Porterfield about getting that Astro rehabilitated there. Down to third. Longoria takes care of Lowry, and that's out number one. Well, Astro will be ready tomorrow for kids 14 and under in the 140 first pitch game.
While supplies last. Get here early and often. Well, you don't have to get often, just once, but
early. That's the key.
Yeah, it is the key. You want to be left out.
Brandon Moss, the hitter. He lines it out of the reach of Roberts for a base hit. Moss waiting on that pitch, picks up a single.
Brandon Moss hits the ball with authority, and most of his damage is going to be to the pull side. He hit that ball hard enough to get it by Ryan Roberts, who gave a game effort. He went out almost off the plate away and was able to hook that ball hard enough to get it into right field.
Roberts getting a couple of starts in this series.
Yeah, you won. You surmised last night that he would get a start probably tonight because of the 3 for 6. I was thinking of the Tommy Malone angle.
I gotcha.
And once again,
well, we'll see what tomorrow holds. It's always fun because you never know about that lineup.
You don't. Even if you think you have it nailed,
you don't. Just as soon as you think you have it nailed.
Yeah,
with Madden, you don't.
Because he'll get you with not only within the lineup itself, but then the positions these guys are going to play.
Mm-hmm. So he's gone 14 out of 16 so far. Different lineups. 151 last year. Nice pitch. It's in there, 1-1. Derek Norris, the catcher. He came over from the Washington Nationals. Hot shot down to third. Longoria is going to skip it to first, but back in is Moss. That was a hot shot off the bat of Derek Norris.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? When Molina set up in there, I thought to myself, I hope he's throwing him a changeup, because Derek Norris is a guy that commits early to the swing. So fastballs middle in, especially earlier in the count, he gets to in a big way. And you're right. That was a fastball in there, and he did commit early and get the head out. Unfortunately for the Rays, it was right at Evan.
Some quick thinking by Longoria trying to get that double play. It was hit so hard. That might have been the only thing that really saved Moss. It didn't give him time to get away from the bag.
That's exactly right.
And Josh Reddick. Now the right fielder, Reddick. Reddick has cleaned it up a little bit.
Yes, he has.
Tonight's game.
Much better look. And that, you know what? That was me in spring training. that was.
You thought that needed a little work.
Well, it did. It was very, very poor.
Two and 0. Reddick. Apparently, hunting season is over now, and he got rid of what he had there last night.
Unless you're hunting heaters.
Yeah.
Which he will do.
Got up to such a great start last year for this club, and for most of the year was dynamite at the plate. And won a Gold Glove in the outfield. Grounds this one to the right side with the shift, and he's thrown out. A man left. We go to the bottom of the second, no score.
You guys mentioned keeps his lineups a little different day to day. He also likes to keep things loose in the clubhouse. And today, when the Rays players entered Tropicana Field and they walked in the home clubhouse, they saw this: a DJ Fresh was set up not far from the manager's office. There you see the turntables, the laptop, the two big speakers. For the most part, the players seem to enjoy it, especially reliever Joel Peralta.
Awesome, Papa. Awesome. I mean, it's a great idea, to bring the spirit out for the players, and maybe we can do something good tonight.
Did it surprise you at all to see this?
Yeah, it does. Definitely does. I mean, Joe Maddon is unbelievable. He brings out the best out of you and everything, so it's a great idea.
Joe said he wanted to see some happier faces around, and for the most part, most guys said, you know what, it's not that big a surprise. This is a team that has a disco ball as part of their post-game celebrations after victories, guys.
Yeah, and Joel Peralta's already loose in case they want to use him at any time tonight. He's ready.
That's like standing on one of those power plates, or just vibrates you into being loose. You don't even have to stretch.
Joey's out in the front.
You know what they could maybe do next time, Brian? Why don't they just let the players get, change, get dressed like at Asia over across the bridge, and then take the Fox Sports VIP bus and then bring them in for the game? Why don't we just go that route next time?
Who's to say that that wouldn't happen?
I think it's a good idea. Park ballet at Asia.
Yeah.
Boom. VIP. Fox Sports bus.
Take the bus back then.
Bring him
later.
Up. Yeah.
2-2 to Joyce.
I mean, it's a good thought. We'll see.
We've been surprised before.
All the time. All the time, yeah. We'll be surprised again tomorrow about something.
Joyce, Duncan, and Loney. Too low, and the count is full. Shelby Duncan will be next. Baldwin back into deep right. Reddick will go back, look up, and it's gone. Line drive home run for Matt Joyce. And the Rays take a 1-0 lead. Joyce tees off for the second time this year. And the Rays break out in front.
Well, that's going to be the key for this Rays team. Don't chase Jared Parker off the plate, and when he misses over the heart, make him pay.
Matt's first home run, the game winner. And now this one to put the Rays out in front.
That was a missile.
Shelby Duncan with a 1-0 count. Lowry. An accurate throw. One away. The Rays now with 16 home runs. Finally, the long ball started to show up in Baltimore, and it's carried over into the homestand.
Hard to believe that on that road trip that the Rays had gone over 8.5 days in between home runs. Boy, they have found that stroke in the last few days. I want to get greedy, but it'd be nice to sprinkle a couple runners out there every now and then. Rays will definitely take it.
James Loney has been red hot. Average up to 308 as a result. The Rays have just one 3-run home run. Sharply hitting a big hop. Sogard makes the play. 2 gone. Shelby Duncan has a 3-run home run. Evan Longoria a couple of 2-run homers, and Kelly Johnson hit a 2-run home run. All the rest of them have been solos. Molina, one hopper to Sogard. His throw takes care of Molina and the Rays. But the Rays get a run on a long one off the bat of Matt Joyce. Came back out over the plate. The Rays lead 1-0. H.H. Gregg. Rays out in front on the Matt Joyce home run. Josh Donaldson will lead off the third. Donaldson, Sogard, and then Coco Crisp. The first pitch strike on the corner. 26-year-old right-hander Jeremy Hellickson. To beat there, and Jim Joyce comes up with the strike call.
How about the late sweeping action on that breaking ball? That was sharp and right on the corner. He could buckle James Joyce.
And the way he utilized that his last time out, that was very encouraging. Certainly the quality of that pitch now, what an added dimension to his game. The changeup already as good as you're going to see. But a good curveball with that, like that, wow.
And as he continues to learn hitters, understand how he wants to pitch them, and refine his command, sky is the limit.
Hellickson's nature is to figure it out, sometimes on the fly.
Yeah.
But he's always thinking out there. And now to integrate that, just like that use of the cutter last year early. Got hurt on it, started to shelve it a little bit.
Smart. Listen, his fastball, the changeup, curveball, that's all he needs.
Cut and a miss. He strikes out Donaldson. James speeds on him there. Let's check in again with Todd Callis. Todd?
Hey, Dwayne, we have Leah Flores, Executive Vice President of Wells Fargo and a board member of the Pinellas Education Foundation, and Dr. Mike Grego. He is just recently superintendent of Pinellas Education. First of all, we're going to start with Leo. What's the importance between Pinellas Education Foundation and Pinellas Schools?
Well, you know, as the leading organization in Pinellas County, supporting both our public schools and Pinellas County schools, the Pinellas Education Foundation is the most trusted conduit between the community, philanthropic, and volunteer support for Pinellas County schools.
Now, when you talk about these two programs, what a great partner they are, and extremely supportive between the two. And tell us about that.
Yes, so the partnership is one of the most important things and really has led to much of our success. The partnership with the community, the partnership with the school board, with individual organizations and companies. One example like that is our Take Stock in Children grant program.
And now, Dr. Mike Grego, Superintendent of Pinellas County School Districts. Tell us about what excites you about Pinellas County.
Well, the Rays, first thing, excites me a great deal. And no, I've been here about 7 months, and it's good to be back in the Tampa Bay area. I spent, as I mentioned, 28 years in Hillsborough County, superintendent Osceola County, but this is home. Families from here, and it's great to be back to lead one of the greatest districts in the United States.
Talk to Leah, board member of the Pinellas Education Foundation. What is important for them in terms of success of the school districts in Pinellas?
Well, we know one thing. We can't do this by ourselves. So we need our business community. We need our parents, our PTA, the YMCA, all these agencies to believe, and this community really does believe in public education.
Pinellas Education Night at Tropicana Field. Looks like a pretty good group here.
It's a great crowd. We had record-setting tickets sold here from our teachers, our principals. I'd like to yell out and praise our principals and teachers and our Teacher of the Year throughout the first pitch this evening. So go Rays, but go Pinellas County Schools.
Dr. Grego, thank you. Leah, thank you very much. Guys, quite a combination. Pinellas Education Foundation and the Pinellas School District. Back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you. Meanwhile, Eric Sogard is at first base. He hit a changeup, and Sogard hit a changeup down to Longoria at third that handcuffed him. And now Coco Crisp is up here. The runner at first and one out.
Ball came off the bat kind of squirrely at Evan Longoria.
Yeah, that was a strange occurrence there. One is a base hit.
And I think Evan, too, you know, he was fooled by it, moved to his right, and then instead of backhanding that ball, it came up high. He tried to get that glove underneath. Just was an awkward-looking play right from the swing. Off the end of the...
Tried to swat a bee.
Yeah, well...
He just couldn't find it.
It had to come off the bat, hit right off the cup end of the bat. Had awkward spin on it. Regardless, he's at first base.
Close pitch to Chris, but he takes it for ball 2. A strikeout of the first hitter, Donaldson, and then that truly was a squibber of a base hit down to third by Sogard. Crisp has been red hot. That's a strike.
I like the way that Jose Molina sets up out there at those extremes. And he gets right on that corner, angles that body a little bit towards the plate. See where he's at, and then watch how he gathers that ball right there. Gives Jim Joyce a good look at it.
And a move to first. Sogard back in. Oakland will start runners. They've been aggressive on the bases this year. Got a combination of power and speed.
We're going to face a tough one to run on, and Jeremy Hellickson. Teams are 0 for 2 against him this year. Last year, just 7 stolen bases given up. He does a nice job of controlling the running game, mainly by being so quick to the plate. Slows it down, and then he just picks it up and goes.
And he picks up a strike at the knees, and you can see just that little lift of the front foot back down. It's there.
That's it. Doesn't have a high leg kick. Watch this right there. Even if you get a good jump on that, Jose Molina is going to have plenty of time to make a good throw. But the only time you're going to see a guy steal off Jeremy Hellickson is if he can peek in and see changeup or breaking ball. You probably even want to go more on the curveball.
Hopper into short center. Jennings in a hurry is there. He's going to make the catch. And now they're going to double up Sogard easily. Desmond makes the trek in, steps on the bag to complete the double play. That's a double play, 8 unassisted. Not going to see that every day. Rays lead 1-0. ended the top half of the frame with a double play, 8 unassisted. And I cannot recall ever seeing this before. An opportunity for a center fielder to make a double play unassisted, particularly at first base.
Well, then I know that I certainly have never seen it.
Well, they say you'll see something new every day in this game, and it doesn't have to be the Rays lineup that's new every day.
Or DJ Fresh.
That's right. An 8 unassisted double play here to end the top of the third. Here's Janelle Escobar to lead it off. I knew this night was going to be different right from the beginning when our guys in the truck had that creative look at the lineup. Escobar hits a high fly ball into center for Chris. I don't know how many runs the Rays will score tonight, but I'll say this. You know, we're here and we get a chance to watch them take batting practice, and batting practice just sounded better today. Not necessarily looked better, because it's been pretty good the last couple of days, but it certainly sounded better. I don't know, maybe that's just psychological because they've started to score some runs.
I think you were just in a good mood today. I was in a good mood today until I sat down for our pregame production meeting. The boys in the truck kind of drug me down a little bit.
That's ridiculous.
But I came back up here with you, and boom.
We're right back at it.
Yeah, I mean, you're all positive and very Joe Madden-esque.
You don't know how I was before you got here, though.
Oh, I've seen it, though.
Have that kind of influence on people. You bring them up.
No, you brought me up.
On the count. Jennings takes that slider for a strike.
Going back to really what you were talking about, batting practice, I think that what you're seeing is a team that's offensively full of confidence right now. They were in the doldrums for so long, but now that they've broken out and been able to sustain it for the last 4 games, you know, the first 13 games of the year, they scored 6 or more runs twice, were in double digits and hits once. They've done it the last 3 games, both of them, 6+, double digits. Feel pretty good about themselves right now.
And Desmond, a foul tip strikeout. So 2 outs. Well, you know, that interleague, there's an interleague game every day in Major League Baseball now, and the Rays are starting to prepare for that. We'll have pitchers BP tomorrow, and one of those two, I don't know if we're going to flip a coin, how we're going to decide that, but either Matt Moore or David Price will be mic'd up during BP.
And those guys,
BP tomorrow.
They have a blast taking batting practice. You talk about combining Rays having fun and batting practice. I mean, they take it serious because it is a big part of the game playing the National League team. But boy, do they have a blast during BP.
Well, the Rays will be doing that on this next road trip.
That's right. Oh, and think about it, too. Coors Field,
yes,
Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
Boys will be coming out of their shoes.
Well, Price hit a couple blasts in Baltimore.
Yes.
Early.
Yes.
And they'll go to Denver to Coors Field with visions of balls flying off their bats.
Yeah. I can remember pitching out there. Not only did you have the thin air, but then at that time you had the Blake Street Bombers. Dante Bichette, Larry Walker. These guys could make that ball disappear in a hurry. Great stadium.
Liner up the left side. That's a foul ball. Count's going to hold at 1-2. Roberts making a bid. You know, we talked a couple of innings ago about pitchers and just not feeling it. And Parker seemed to be that way. What do you do with that? I know there have been times when you go out there and you feel like you can throw it anywhere you want at any time, and other times you're thinking, It's just not happening. So how do you get yourself through that?
Well, you know what? It starts with, if you have an outing like that, and obviously you struggle like Jared has, it's going to the bullpen. And it's much like what Evan Longoria was talking about with the team. It's trusting the process. You go out, you identify the issues that you're having. Pitching coach is probably going to have his input. And you go out there and you work on it in the bullpen. And once you get it fixed and locked in out there, you have to trust that once the game starts, because what's really easy to happen is you get out there, maybe you get a little out of sync for a few pitches or a hitter or two, and all of a sudden all those bad habits start to come back in, and then it's like a snowball rolling downhill. Just continues to build momentum. You find yourself out of the game again.
It's interesting because Parker early seemed to be there, and in this inning he's thrown a couple sliders that look really pretty good.
And he has a good one.
Yeah.
When he's getting that fastball out in front and is able to just roll the fingers over, a good tilt, sharp slider.
He got ahead of Roberts, and now it's 3-2, so it's still a little topsy-turvy for him. And he walked it.
Good take. That's a pitch. A lot of guys will chase that 3-2. They want to swing, especially a guy like Ryan Roberts, who he's up there. He wants to swing the bat. Got a 3-2 breaking ball here. Does a nice job of holding up.
Well, he'd thrown a couple of those earlier that were really good, confident enough to go 3-2 with that slider and walk him, especially with Zobrist coming up, because Ben had a base hit his first time. He's now 3 for 7 with a home run off Parker. So let's see if the Rays can do something with the 2-out walk. Rays got a run in the second inning on Matt Joyce's second home run of the year. Fastball to start Ben Zobrist, strike one. Made 20 pitches in the first inning and just 12 in the second. 7 of those to Joyce, who finally hit the home run. Now it's a 2-1 count. He's still not as consistent as he would like to be. A couple glimpses of really good sliders and a handful not so good.
That's what's maddening, is you just can't put it together and get into a good rhythm and on a good roll. That's where sometimes your catcher can help you out, because he can recognize things that you're doing well. The slider's been a big pitch for him, and try to nurse you through a ball game that way until it starts to click again. Obviously, that doesn't mean you just go out there and fire slider after slider, but you try to massage the game, and whatever is working for you. You go into a game where you're a guy that throws all 4 pitches. Well, maybe for whatever reason the curveball is just not there that night. You got to be able to recognize that early and use the other pitches to try to buy you some time before the curveball comes back around. It's just a constant ebb and flow. Not every pitch is going to feel great every time out. Somehow you got to make it work.
And a strike call. Zobrist looking for something hard there and got the change. 1-0 Rays through 3.
difficult weeks the city will ever have to endure, the city of Boston, and today back to baseball at Fenway Park, an emotional day for many after yesterday's game was postponed. And there you see some of the sights and sounds beforehand. The first responders all honored. A lot of fans holding up signs, the Boston Strong. The Red Sox did not wear jerseys that said Red Sox. They wore jerseys on the front that said Boston, and Daniel Nava hit one into the bullpen right after Neil Diamond sung Sweet Caroline to head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. That gave Boston a 4-2 lead, sent the place into a frenzy at Fenway Park, and then Andrew Bailey, with the tying and go-ahead runners aboard, would get this ground out from Alex Gordon, and that would do it. A very emotional victory for the Boston Red Sox, as some healing is being done for that city. The Red Sox win it 4-3 today at Fenway Park, guys.
And our thoughts and prayers continue to go out to all of those affected, and let the healing process begin. Here's John Jaso. Jaso, Smith, and Lowry against Rays right-hander Jeremy Hellickson. The Red Sox, you know, Buchholz, the win. He's 4-0 with an earned run average under 1. And that combination of Buchholz and Lester,
yes,
under John Farrell, they are pitching lights out.
Well, he took a real interest as soon as he got over into spring training, and could spend a lot of time with them on those backfields in bullpens. When we saw those guys up there, and we got a chance to do the game with Clay Buchholz on the mound, I don't know if I've ever seen him as sharp as he was that day. With the cutter, the curveball, his location was impeccable.
And both those guys just great top to bottom. 2-2 to Jaso. So the Red Sox are now 12-4. With that.
Oh, and you trace it right back to the pitching. I mean, what did we say about this team? They're going to score runs. You like the back end of their bullpen as it comes out on paper before the season started. It kind of went back to, are they going to have enough starting pitching? Can they get the job done? Well, they have the #1 starting pitching crew in baseball right now, ERA-wise, at least in the American League. And you talk about being led by those two horses.
3-2, Jaso pops it up. Escobar makes the catch, and David Ortiz back as the DH. He had a couple of hits today, 2 for 4, and a run batted in. And the Yankees now 10-6. They'll be coming in here on Monday, and without Derek Jeter, and without Jeter for a while now going forward. Seth Smith, 1 out in the top of the 4th inning, nobody on. Runner aboard now. Smith sends that fastball right back into center. Hit number 3 surrendered by the Rays right-hander Hellickson. Baltimore beat the Dodgers. Another one to go there. Blue Jays lost, so they're 7-11. The Rays come in 6-10, holding a 1-0 lead at the moment in the 4th. So far, that East appears to be maybe as open and as wild as we thought it might be when we talked about it in the spring. The Red Sox certainly off to a great start. Over the long haul, I think it's going to be wide open. Lowry went out on a ground ball to Longoria in the 2nd inning. Take a look at the updated standings right now. Boston up by 2 on New York, 3 in front of the Orioles, 6 up on both the Rays and the Jays. Strike the count. Lowry tops in the American League at on base percentage and in the top 5 in slugging percentage. He has been a big part of the quick start for the Oakland offense.
Fastball in by Jeremy, and he gets it right by Jed Lowry. When you see a hitter, too, take that long walk. A lot of times they're not happy with themselves, either at the pitch they swung at or the fact that they missed it. Kind of take that long walk, clear the mind before they step back into the box.
That's a foul ball, the call. Jeff Nelson right on the line, back of first.
Continuing to work that ball close to Lowry. That's a couple of breaking balls that he has yanked foul, missed the fastball in there. Tell you what, you've got him so geeked up for the ball in, and you see how close this was. I'd like to see that Jeremy Hellickson A+ changeup down and away. You've got him turning and burning right now. Right back in.
Lowry is out on strikes. Second out here in the 4th.
And that's typically not the place that you want to go. You can see Lowry, he's right up on the plate. He's got high hands, just cannot get to that pitch. Hellickson powers it right by him. Well, I'll tell you what, that's the one thing that this Rays pitching staff does a great job of, with all the information that's gathered and presented to Jim Hickey, Stan Borowski, all the guys that put together the game plan. They hone it down to a couple of things, and they'll find a weakness like that, and they're not afraid to just continue to go after you in the same spot. Now, if it says the guy can't handle the ball into the hands, they'll say, well, we're just going to keep throwing it in there until you can. And we're going to bet that you can't. We've seen too much video.
That's the genius of common sense.
Yeah. Now, what you have to do is you have to have a pitching staff that can execute that. It's nice to know the guy can't handle this particular pitch, but if you can't make it, it doesn't do you a whole lot of good.
Ross is down 0-2.
There's that curveball again. That pitch is sharp. Tell you what, Alex Cobb and Jeremy Hellickson both had curveball becoming more and more of a weapon as opposed to just a pitch in the arsenal. I mean, that pitch right there, you could throw in any count. That can be a put-away pitch. It can be a get-ahead pitch.
And he's ahead of Moss, 2 strikes. The other side effect of that improved curveball is a lower pitch count. And that's something that would be very big for Hellickson. The Rays wanting to get him deeper into games. So he's got another tool to work with.
If you can use that, and we've seen him use it, we've seen Alex Cobb use it, that curveball early in the count to get strike 1. Now all of a sudden put a hitter on the defensive. You do that a few times, start to make hitters antsy. They don't want to hit 0-2, so they start swinging early in the count. Then you can take advantage of that aggressiveness. That's exactly what Alex did last night.
And Moss is out on strikes. Well, you get ahead. You've got some choices. He had him out in front. 2 strikeouts in the inning, and the Rays lead 1-0.
Evan Longoria about to step up to the plate, and how hot is his bat right now? 4 homers in the last 5 games, and remember, guys, it took him 12 games to even have an extra base hit. Well, last night I got to catch up with Longoria about this recent power surge.
I'd like to mix in a few, I guess multi-hit games or, better at bats in between, but I've run into a few lately, and it's good to finally, get the slugging percentage up and start driving the ball.
Longo has never homered, guys, in 5 out of 6 games in his career. Could tonight be the night?
All right, Kelly, well, let's see. Having to lead off the bottom of the 4th. So look at first pitch too low.
I'm going to have to disagree with Evan. How about that? On his own critique of the hitting the home runs.
Yeah.
I don't think that he's running into anything. I think he's doing a great job of staying quiet up there at the plate and letting his hands work. A couple of those balls, fastballs down in the zone close to him, and he's just absolutely exploded it.
There's been a lot of hang time down near the bullpen, and that's Donaldson, the third baseman, making his way through the bullpen and over the mound, and he held on to that ball. It's quite a play. Donaldson has...
Evan doesn't believe him.
No, he says, wait a minute. Could he really make that catch? And Donaldson says, hey, yeah, I caught it. So Evan's going to leave the plate area. He's just checking with Jim Joyce to go, hey, I caught that ball. Why is Longoria still up there? And Evan goes, a third baseman made that catch? What did it...
Look at that. I'm the only guy that can make that play.
I was going to say, what a compliment, Longoria. He said, look, that's not catchable.
No,
but it is.
A lot of traffic down there, too. A lot of guys bailing off that bench down there. I just said, I don't believe you.
I don't believe you. A little tap off the bat of Joyce. Barehanded pickup out of the shift, and Sogard throws him out.
I know that he, said right here, here's the look, like, you got to be kidding me. No, that's priceless.
Because I couldn't even catch that. He caught it.
He's down there checking the video right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, when I think about a guy running into a home run, I think of a cripple pitch. You just you're a one swing playing guy. You hit the ball in a certain spot. But I think he's done a great job.
That's right.
Yeah, getting that ball. A couple of those fastballs down and in where he's dropping the head and working counts. More of a testament to his approach than just happening to find a pitch out over the plate.
2 outs, and Shelley Duncan was the hitter for the Rays. A strike to count to him. In the middle of all that play that Donaldson made, I was going to say, he's been playing a great third base for them. They've been very pleased with what he's done based on normal plays and some extra normal plays down there. But that one was something else, to go all the way to the bullpen and dodge all the traffic and still catch it.
They're not entirely pleased with what he's done with his hair, but certainly his play is an exemplary.
It's all a matter of individual taste.
Okay, turn one more time. There we go. It's aggressive. Hey, listen, there's something about this Oakland team, but this was like this when I was still playing. I mean, they had the white shoes, and then they had big hair, the crazy mustaches. Crazy ones. Not yours is very standard.
That's very kind of you. 1-2 pitch, lifted toward the left. Smith out there. And the Rays are up and down. 1-2-3. We go to the 5th. 1-0 Rays. tonight. Time for the Just for Men Auto Stop Foolproof Stat. Well, Evan Longoria has reached base in 30 consecutive games. The leader in Rays history. There you are.
Yes, yeah. I mean, our first game 17 before we got right here a list with Johnny Damon on it. Hold on. Well, whatever. Check plus.
A check plus.
Check plus.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Ben Greaves second, and Evan Longoria looks to continue his streak. He's 0 for 2 tonight. On to the 5th. Derek Norris steps in for Oakland. He's their catcher. Ball 1. Well, Scott Kazmir, former Ray, back in the big leagues, making a start tonight for the Cleveland Indians. And he's doing it in his hometown, the same hometown of Todd Callis, Houston, Texas. And Kazmir staked to an 8-run lead. The Indians scored 8 in the first. They scored 6 in the second. So 14-0. Houston got 3 off Kazmir in the second, and now the Indians another run in the third. So how about that game? It's 15-3 at the top of the third. Hellickson had made a little over 50 pitches through 4 innings. And he's behind in the count to Derek Norris. Philip Humber started that game for Houston and allowed 9 of the 10 men he faced to reach base. Right side, hang time. Zobrist over in a hurry, but it's foul. It cannot catch up to it. Loney gave it a pretty good shot from first base as well.
You got that ball hanging up there for that long. You'd love to see someone get to it, but Ben Zobrist had a long way to go. Same with James Loney had a tough angle and a long way to go on top of it.
After this one, when it's out of play. Norris fouling off out in front of changeup.
He does. We talked about it in his first at bat where he lined out to Evan Longoria. He likes to get it started early, and so that changeup, good pitch against him. He was able to hang in there long enough to waste it. Get another one to work with here. So he gets right up on top of the plate.
And ball 4 outside. So Norris heads to first. Let's check in with Todd. How are you?
I'm good, Dwayne. We'll continue on the Houston theme. I believe ZZ Top was originally formed in Houston, and with that in mind,
that's right.
We're going to go with the best beard in sports. How do you like that? We've got now Josh Reddick is hashtag TB1. More on him in a moment. Hashtag TB2 James Harden. Hashtag TB3 Jason Worth. Hashtag TB4 Brett Kiesel. Tweet your votes to @SunSportsRays. And we already see a check mark here. Don't be biased by anything on your screen. But Josh Reddick had a fuller beard yesterday. He's kind of gone to a little more sedate look. He said to his fans on Twitter today, look for a surprise from me at the game. There's actually 4 different accounts on Twitter, guys, that are Josh Reddick beards. But none of them are legit except for Josh Reddick, of course. There's a different look. So we're voting on yesterday's Josh Reddick in our Twitter poll today, guys.
Yeah, 4 counts. All Josh Reddick, but the only one that's legitimate as Josh Reddick, right? It's a
I have a hard
confusing
time
world out
following
there.
that. Yeah. That's why I tend to not participate.
Yeah.
Not to mention that would just be recipe for.
Yeah. Todd, what do you have to say?
There are 4 Twitter accounts that are labeled Josh Reddick's beard, as if his beard is Twitter friendly.
Oh, there you go.
One of them says you can see Josh Reddick's beard from outer space. So there you go.
That's only if it's on fire. A smaller fire tonight than last night. 1-1 to count to Reddick. He bunts foul. 1-2. There is some drama in that Houston game, by the way. It's 15-3. Scott Kazmir making his first start. He's pitched 2 innings, and his pitch count is up to 46. He had a 31 pitch second. So 46 pitches, 2 innings. You do the math. Does he have a pitch count?
Got to get through 5.
Get the 5.
Got to get through 5. Talking about adding pressure to a pitcher's outing. Hand him 14 runs in the second. Go get that win.
Yep.
Because here's the thing.
Down.
You go in 4 2/3 and give up 5 runs and they pull you. Guess what? Team's still probably going to win that game.
Yep.
And if you don't get that win, you talk about
disappointing.
Oh, but to a different level.
Yeah.
That's a gifted win. That's handed to you, provided you get past 5 innings.
Yeah.
We'll follow it.
We'll see. Yeah. Keep you up to date. Details later. Ready. The runner at first, nobody out. Josh Donaldson on deck.
Well, this game a little tighter than you would like. Jeremy Parker has found his rhythm. This game has moved along. Jeremy Hellickson has been very, very good in a nice little battle here with Reddick.
Reddick does have a career home run against Hellickson. Nice stop right there by Molina. Quick throw to first. Oh, they almost picked off Norris. Boy, how about that?
How about Jose Molina? Not only with the block, but I mean getting up and out of his stance like a cat. Quick. Getting that ball and firing it off the first. Tough enough right here. Then how about that little bounce? And then try to get Norris, and he almost did. Boy, he had to go wide. Look, he got a little bit lazy right there.
Ooh, I'm telling you.
Loney almost blocked him off with his right foot. Able to sneak that hand in past it. Nice try.
And again down to first. They're going to get him. Safe again. Wow. You talk about a guy living on the edge. And Loney thought they had him.
And Derek Norris is a catcher. I mean, he's got to know that Jose Molina, he just tried it before. Oh, he catches him way out there. I think the tag was a little bit high up on the arm, maybe around the elbow area. That allowed that hand to sneak in there. That was close. Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Well, the count's 3-2. And a line drive going to be grabbed by Escobar. Throw to first, and they finally get Norris. They double him up. Well, Molina couldn't pick him off, but Escobar picks him off first on the backside of the double play. 6-3. It just was not meant for Norris to stay at first base.
No, the last 3 plays. I mean, they were going to get him one way or the other. How about that positioning, too? Escobar right up the middle. hurry, and James Loney with some nice footwork down there.
Third time a charm for the Rays. Not so much for Norris and Reddick and the A's. Donaldson takes a big cut, fouls it, strike one. How about the sequence going on there? Just another 1-0 game, folks. Donaldson out in front. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Well, looks like going to take a little time. We'll need a chance with Jim Joyce. Everybody's all right. Hellickson got Donaldson with a changeup. He's ahead of him. There's the changeup here. This one off Molina's mitt. Fastball. Sogard on deck. 5 strikeouts in the game for the Rays right-hander. Jim Joyce has an issue here. And here comes Ron Porterfield. Something in his eye. And all that needed was a trained professional. That's what they got. Took care of that. That's why Ron's the best.
That was after taking care of the Astro bobblehead.
Clearly do it all. 2-2. Ground ball. This is Roberts out of the shift, and that takes care of Donaldson. Well, 5 shutout innings from Jeremy Hellickson. Allowed 3 hits and has struck out 5. And the Rays lead this game 1-0.
1-0 lead heading into the bottom of the 5th inning. Tonight's game and all season long, Tires Plus. Donate $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports.
.72 pitches for Hellickson through 5. James Loney leads off the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, 72 through 5 is a good number. He's following that same program that Alex Cobb was on last night. Aggressive team. Get ahead of him early. Get him in swing mode early.
Loney lifts a pop fly short left. Smith coming in. Gets there.
And these guys want to work at bats and work counts. Quality strikes, you get some early outs. This is just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Oh yeah.
Go ahead. Take it. Jose Molina up there now.
I could reach through that TV screen.
If only you could.
Oh, wait a minute. Have one right here.
1 strike the count on Molina. Been an active evening for Jose Molina behind the plate. Fun in the top half of this inning as he's trying to pick off his fellow catcher, Derek Norris. Rays finally got him, doubled him off. The only run for the Rays, the home run by Matt Joyce in the 2nd. The only other hit was the base hit by Zobrist in the 1st. Roberts walked in the 3rd. Jared Parker. Souvenir down there.
That was a nice job by Dad to actually get that up into the stands. Not going to get a chance to see it, but the assist pops.
This one headed towards shallow left center, will fall. And a base hit for Molina. So the Rays have 3 hits and the A's have 3 hits.
Now Jose Molina just trying to put the ball in play, give himself a chance. A little bit out in front. He just soft serves that ball into center field. He's going to put Jared Parker in the stretch.
Yadiel Escobar. Parker had retired 5 straight. Back into the stretch he goes. And a strike to the Rays shortstop. Parker had to overcome Tommy John surgery. It was in late October in 2009. And last year 13-8 with Oakland. The first round pick by the Diamondbacks in 07. Traded to the A's. Ball, 2 strikes. Well, the Rays offense had come to life the last handful of games, and the Oakland offense has been lively all season. And here we are in a 1-0 game in the bottom of the 5th. Escobar is out on strikes.
Man, Yunel just could not hold up. He had an idea as that ball was floating up there, 80 miles an hour out over the plate. Just could not stop his swing. It's not exactly where you want that pitch, but it was effective in that particular sequence. And then, Dwayne, going back to your point, two offenses, A's and the Rays, what they've done the last few games, this just goes to show you that when you're able to execute pitches, you've got a good idea what you're doing, and you're able to execute the pitches. I'm telling you, you can calm down and slow down any offense out there.
Well, Desmond looking to reach. He is 0 for 2. Pair of strikeouts. There's a base hit through the hole off the fastball. Molina stops at second. A couple hits in the inning for the Rays. 2 men on with 2 men out. We'll get Ryan Roberts to the plate, who has a walk tonight and a history of success against Parker.
Well, that pitch was right down the middle, just above the knees. Desmond with a nice swing, hit that ball hard. Extends the inning, gives the Rays a RBI opportunity here. The last thing Bob Melvin wants to see is the Rays add to this lead the way that Jeremy Hellickson's throwing the ball.
Let's see what Ryan Roberts can do about that. Inside. As a sidelight, Houston scored 3 in the bottom of the 3rd. So they're through 3. It's 15-6 Cleveland. And Kazmir's pitch count is 76 through 3.
Uh-oh.
8 in the first for the Indians, 6 in the second, and 1 in the third. The Astros 3 in the second, 3 in the third, and Kazmir's pitch count getting on the edge there.
That's going to be close, but I'll tell you this, even if you get through 5, you'll take that win. And no pitcher's going to turn down a win. But guess what? You do not feel good about it. Yeah. Not at all. Not at all. In fact, while you take the win, you feel like, listen, that really is a loss. If I pitch like that again, I will lose the next time out. Giving up 6 runs in 5 innings, if he gets there, that's not going to get it done most of the time. So you won't feel good about that one way or the other. At least your portion of the performance. Be happy that the team won the ball game, and even that's going to be called into question if Houston keeps slugging away.
Did he go? Nope. On the appeal, Jeff Nelson says Roberts checked in time, and he's up 3 balls and a strike in the count. That'll load the bases. Be loaded for Ben Zobrist with 2 outs. Kurt Young heads to the mound to talk it over with his starting pitcher Jared Parker.
Well, tweet up at the Trop when the Rays take on the Blue Jays on Tuesday, May the 7th. Participate in exclusive contests for prizes such as autographed baseballs, free Rays tickets, and even a chance to throw out the first pitch. Order these special tickets by tomorrow to receive a Rays Tweet Up t-shirt with your Twitter handle.
Well, here's Ben Zobrist Zobrist homered last year off Parker. At the end of August, he takes a cut and misses. Bases loaded with 2 gone. That game here last August, the A's eventually won that game 5-4. Ben, a home run to lead off the 2nd inning in that game. Parker gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. And the ground ball to first. Moss will play it unassisted, beating Zobrist to the bag. Rays leave him loaded. We go to the 6th. It's 1-0 Tampa Bay. Has struck out 5, walked only 1 through 5 innings, 72 pitches. Rays got their run for Matt Joyce, a leadoff 2nd inning home run. Had some fun in this game, including this unassisted double play by the Rays center fielder Desmond Jennings, who stepped on first, and then a hot shot double play to finally get the catcher Derek Norris at first. It was Escobar firing that throw across after making that catch on the line drive, and all of that after Jose Molina made 2 very close pickoff attempts of Norris at first. So we've made it through 5. Get into the 6th inning. Hellickson will face Eric Sogard. Sogard had that base hit, the infield hit in the 3rd. Just a little more conventional, lifting it into left where Joyce is waiting already. 1 pitch, 1 out. Well, that's always a great start to an inning for a pitcher.
Out there, make a quality pitch. Roll back around the top of the lineup. Jeremy Hellickson has made a lot of quality pitches tonight.
We go to the top of the order. It's Coco Crisp. For 2 on 2 fly balls. He hit the fly ball in the 3rd inning. It resulted in the unassisted double play by Desmond Jennings. That has been done before, but not by the Rays. An outfielder with an unassisted double play. Roger Morgan did it with Pittsburgh in 2007. The last center fielder with an unassisted double play at first base. It's a 1-1 count. ball and 2 strikes. Back to the curveball.
Well, that's that curveball that just continues to eat towards the ground. Watch this spin. It just goes and goes and goes. Coco Crisp thinks he has a good beat on it, and it still dips below that bat. Able to create a tremendous amount of four-seam down rotation with that spike curveball. Look how you react there on that fastball. Well located, borderline pitch. And Coco Crisp with a very defensive swing just to stay alive. Look at that. You get a hitter off balance like that, that kind of swing. Mission accomplished.
Well, if you're throwing quality pitches the way Hellickson is tonight, you really, when you get a hit, you make that hitter guess.
Yeah. You get him out of rhythm, get him out of sync.
He's not sure what he's going to get next. 2-2. Made some contact, but defensively as he hangs in there. They had to foul ball. What an at bat this is.
Yeah, well, and listen, Coco Crisp is out of sync here. He's just looking to hang on. But to his credit, he is fouling these pitches off. And a lot of times when a pitcher's throwing as well as Jeremy Hellickson, a hitter that can do anything he can to keep fouling off tough pitches, hoping for that one mistake. You figure, listen, if I see 8 or 9 pitches from this guy, eventually he's going to leave something out over the plate that I can take a good rip at.
Yeah, and still just a 1-run ball game.
Yeah, and he's how many 5 home runs?
5 home runs.
There you go.
High fly ball down the right side, foul. So he's turned this into right now an 8-pitch at bat. Two again. Into left center. Joyce to his left makes the catch. 2 outs here in the 6th. We need to check in with Todd Callis again. Todd,
thank you, Dwayne. Well, you remember early in the game, we're going to look at that video again. We have Brock here and his 4-year-old son Grayson. Remember what happened with the Astro bobblehead? It was a little bit of a difficult scene here as we take another look at it. What happened, Brock?
Well, Grayson was holding Astro, and all of a sudden he dropped it, and Astro's head broke off, as you can see, and went down a couple rows.
What happened to Astro, Grayson?
Did you let Astro go? But we got his head back, didn't we?
We do have the whole Astro bobblehead there. By the way, it's the first 10,000 kids tomorrow, 14 and under, get the Astro bobblehead courtesy of Dex Imaging. This one looks a little different, though, than it originally did. Are you going to be okay with that?
Yeah.
All right. If you guys can't make it to the game tomorrow, we do have another.
You want Daddy to hold that? Say thank you, Todd.
No more throwing Astro, okay?
Yes.
Okay. I know it was an accident, but you guys have fun at the game. Guys, we have a full, healthy Astro bobblehead once again restored.
And all 14,000 kids will get one.
Todd Callis to the rescue. Among the voters once again. Yeah, and Dad will hang on to Astro for a while now. One and two to Jay So, the curveball. Todd would not have slept tonight had he not addressed that issue.
You know what? Todd may not sleep anyway.
Yeah, but it'll be for different reasons. This one is a strike as he tried to check but went around. 1, 2, 3. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 1-0 Rays. Sun Sports is brought to you by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Visit your Honda dealer for great lease and finance deals on fuel-efficient Hondas. And by Checkers. Feast on. Evan Longoria opens the home half of inning 6. Jared Parker, 24-year-old right-hander out there on the hill. Parker with 5 innings under his belt. That equals his season's long outing. His first outing on the 2nd. He pitched 5 innings against Seattle, gave up 4 runs in a 7-1 loss. Fly drive, and there's a base hit for Longoria. So he reaches base here tonight in the 6th inning. Continues that little streak by Evan. Been on in every game this year.
Very consistent, and again, taking advantage of a pitch that didn't quite get to its spot. You know, falling behind and going in. You know, it's tough to get that call in there. That's a high-risk pitch there. And we've seen Evan take that pitch and drive it out of the ballpark a couple times in the last few days.
Matt Joyce drove one out in the 2nd inning. And a 3-2 fastball on a line to right center that got out, and it was thinking about it again on that fastball. Strike 1. 31 straight games now. Longoria has reached base, dating back into last year. Last 2 starts for Parker. 3 1/3 against the Angels. And most recently 3 1/3 against the Tigers. Against the Tigers he gave up 9 hits and 8 runs. Two and one. Good full count pitch and the home run by Joyce. difference in the game right now. The game's only run. Evan back in safely at first. Indians have scored 3 in the fourth. They now lead 18-6. That game's in the fourth. Two and two.
Well, there's one guarantee with the 18 runs. They absolutely beat the Browns.
18 runs, 17 hits. And they're still hitting in the top of the fourth. Count is full again to Matt Joyce here at the Trop. It's that Indians-Astros game in Houston. Scott Kazmir making his first start. Well, he's getting a lot of run support, but he's also making a lot of pitches tonight. He needs to go 5. And Joyce is out on strikes. Different look. He stayed away from the 3-2 fastball that time, struck him out.
And it threw a changeup, and look at it. Want that ball middle away, ends up back down and in. Joyce just a little bit too quick.
See what Shelley Duncan can do. Duncan so far grounded out to the shortstop Lowry, hit a fly ball to left field in the fourth. Sogard, the second baseman, shaded up the middle, but not on the shortstop side of the bag. So extreme pull defense. And to third. Donaldson, Sogard 1. First base Moss. 5-4-3 on the double play. We're through 6 innings tonight at the Trop. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Heading. Take a look at tomorrow's starting pitching matchup. Presented by Coventry Healthcare of Florida. Roberto Hernandez back after that first win. Tommy Malone, the lefty, will do the pitching for Oakland.
Now Malone obviously off to a great start. 3 starts, 3 wins. Roberto Hernandez looking for his first. He's pitched well. Looking to put together a complete outing. get a win.
Set Smith up here to open the 7th. Hellickson made 86 pitches through 6. Missed with a changeup to open the 7th. Did he go on the appeal? No, says Corey Blazer. Moss singled with 1 out in the 2nd. Sogard had the infield hit with 1 out in the 3rd. Smith singled with 1 out in the 4th. And there's Jake McGee throwing in the bullpen.
You know, the Rays talk about Jose Molina being able to get them a few extra strikes on borderline pitches. That was a changeup floating off the plate, and that was off the plate away. But Jose Molina kind of goes around that ball, gives the appearance that it's on the outside corner. It's a nice job by him on receiving it.
Here's a defensive switch on the count, 2-1. 3 balls and a strike. Once it went 2-1, Longoria went to the first base side of 2nd. And Escobar flip-flopped and went back to shortstop.
2-1 count. You got to figure that Seth Smith is going to absolutely pull or look to pull. Make that adjustment.
So now a full count. 3-1 changeup. You know, there's a situation where Hellickson didn't mind being 3-1.
No, and he has the ability to do that. This guy out on the mound for the Rays should never fear being behind in the count because of the great equalizer, which is the changeup.
It's foul out of play. To the right side, charged by Roberts. He had to come from short right out of the shift, and he throws out Smith. There's another oddity from that Indians-Astros game in Houston. The Indians are still hitting in the 4th inning. They lead 18-6. Michael Brantley's at the plate for the 5th time already, and they're in the top of the 4th.
Wow.
But that.
My scorebook, I would have already quit. Still hanging in there tonight.
One nothing game, a little cleaner.
Yeah.
Foul ball out of play by Lowry. Lowry's night, a ground ball to 3rd and a strikeout. There at the knees. 0-2. One ball, 2 strikes. lined into the seats, out of play.
Well, that's a pitch that they were able to strike out Lowry on earlier in the game. Actually missed a couple of pitches in there. The way he's up on the plate, those high hands, they figure Jeremy's like, if I get the pitch to my spot, either A, he can't hit it, and if he does, he's going to pull it foul like he just did.
One-two again. Close. He tracked that one all the way.
And tried to follow that up with the change-up middle away, and it must have just been down because that pitch was all over the plate and apparently all over Fox Tracks.
So it's a 2-2 count. Ground ball first. Loney will make the play unassisted. 2 up, 2 down. As you know, Joe Madden watches over the field here at the Trop, and now he can watch over your field at home. The Rays take on the Yankees April 24th, and the first 10,000 fans go to Joe Madden Dome, presented by Sun Sports. Visit RaysBaseball.com for tickets. There's a look at the Joe Madden Dome, and there's the Kelly Nash look in the. No, Kelly, what do you think of that?
I think I need to be turned into the show hoarders. Look how many gnomes I am hoarding in that wheelbarrow. That is out of control.
Kelly, the gnome collector. Escobar takes care of this. Brandon Moss is out of there.
How did I even get those gnomes? I have no idea. They're unbelievable. I like the beard. I mean, you heard Todd.
It's magic, and the Rays lead 1-0.
One 1-0 lead over the Oakland Athletics. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. It's going to be a Kids Sunday. We got the Astro bobblehead giveaway. Orestes Estrada with a hitting demonstration. That ought to be interesting. And pitchers mic'd up for BP. The only thing that we can guarantee you is that said pitcher will be left-handed. It will either be Matt Moore or David Price. You're going to have to tune in to find out. It'll be entertaining either way.
So a lot going on. Jeremy Hellickson has had it going on tonight.
The keepers of the gate, Cobb and Moore.
First pitch to James Loney is a strike. Loney is 0 for 2. Rays have been limited to a run on 5 hits. The run came in the second. Matt Joyce hit one out. 1-1 to Loney. Ryan Cook in the bullpen for Oakland. Parker approaching 90 pitches and a hard hit line drive right to Moss. Loney's the first out in the 7th. Speaking of out, Scott Kazmir is out of that game in Houston. The Indians leading 18-6. That game's in the bottom of the 4th inning. And Kazmir's been relieved by Brian Shaw. So we had him, what, at 88 pitches? 88 pitches. Molina pounds this one out of play. Indians had a 14-0 lead. It's now 18-6.
That is a tough night for what will more than likely turn out to be the starting pitcher on the winning team. Especially when it was 14-0 going into the bottom of the 2nd.
Molina up the middle, base hit. He's 2 for 3 tonight. The fastball right back into center. Against Escobar strolling to the plate.
That pitch was just right up and out over the plate. Jose hammers it back up the middle. You'd love to see the Rays here at the bottom of the order, 1-run ball game, put the pressure on Jared Parker here and force either a pitching change or add on to that lead. Jeremy Hellickson and that Rays bullpen some breathing room.
And now Bob Melvin pops out of the dugout. Escobar had stepped in and time called. Cook would be ready down in the Oakland bullpen. And there's the move. So 6 1/3 tonight for Parker. He will depart with this Metro PCS call to the bullpen. This week's tragedies, both in Boston and West Texas. Please support onefunboston.org for those affected in Boston. Red Sox defeated the Kansas City Royals 4-3 in an emotional day at Fenway. That's a final. We saw some of the highlights earlier. The Red Sox win 4-3 over the Royals. Ryan Cook's going to be the new pitcher here Jared Parker pitches 6 1/3. Yunel Escobar is the hitter. Throws it back for a strike. Well, Oakland will look at this as a positive development for their young right-hander Jared Parker, who had struggled in 3 starts. Cook gets ahead. 2 strikes to Escobar. Six and a third, 6 hits, a run, 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Parker leaves with Molina at first. Two balls, 2 strikes. And now the count is full.
Ryan Cook has a very interesting delivery in the fact that he's got a lot of moving parts. Arm, the leg. Sometimes rush a little bit, fly open, and lose command.
Yeah, takes off, and the pitch is fouled back. So with 1 out, the full count, Molina was on the move.
Well, that is Joe Madden being aggressive. You're trusting Yunel Escobar to put the ball in play. Ryan Cook, hard thrower. He's got a good put-away slider. Jose Molina, he'll sneak up on you. We've seen him steal a base early this season. See if he goes again.
Throw over there this time.
How many times do you think Jose Molina gets thrown over on?
We just saw it. There he goes. Ground ball back to the mound. Out at second, and the throw to first out there. So they get the double play. The Rays are finished in the 7th, and we head into the 8th. This is a 1-0 game, Rays. It's a 1-0 game tonight. The difference, the solo home run in the second by Matt Joyce. Jeremy Hellickson has given the Rays 7 solid shutout innings of 3-hit baseball, and he will give way to Joel Peralta as we open the 8th.
Well, this is Joe Madden's formula for winning baseball games late. Joel Peralta, the setup man, on for the 9th time. 7 innings of work. But how about the job by Jeremy Hellickson, coming off a very strong outing against the Red Sox in Fenway. And he picked up right where he left off, limiting this early season potent Rays offense to absolutely nothing.
Peralta faces Derek Norris. First pitch is strike 1. Peralta went up out of the zone. Norris would not chase. Hellickson, in the 7 innings he pitched, 100 pitches, and the A's did not put a man as far as second base off him in 7 innings. Two and two. Headed to the shortstop. Escobar whips it to first and picked over there by Loney.
Jeremy Hellickson with 7 shutout innings, and he was outstanding with just about everything. Saw him crowding the lefties with the fastball, then dropping in that curveball, the changeup. He was all over that strike zone with all of his pitches. And I'll tell you, every time you say those two phrases together, you're going to be talking about a very solid outing, and tonight's for Jeremy was exceptional.
Our Toyota trend as we compare the first 3 outings with this one, and the last couple outings have been outstanding. Josh Reddick looks at a strike.
Yeah, that's the blueprint for success for Jeremy. You just take a look at his last start against Boston tonight. That's all you have to do. Don't try to do too much. Don't try to do any more. It's been tremendous.
Into short centers. Out goes Escobar, and he makes the catch as Roberts dives flat on his front side, right in the path of Escobar.
I'll tell you what, Escobar, 2 things here is he's down there talking to Ryan Roberts. He got a great jump on that ball off the bat and kept his concentration even with Ryan Roberts bearing down on him. Watch the jump. He got a great jump. And then look at this. Hey.
Roberts dives and Escobar trots by.
Roberts thought he was catching that ball the entire way. Get out of the way.
Escobar says, "What diving second baseman?"
I see nothing.
Josh Donaldson takes a strike from Peralta. Donaldson has struck out and grounded out. Big cut right there on the breaking ball. This guy can fire the ball. Doolittle up in the bullpen. Two outs, bases empty. Oakland got a 1-out single for Moss in the second, a 1-out infield single from Sogard in the third, and a 1-out single in the fourth from Smith. Ellickson walked Norris in the fifth, and he finally was retired on a line drive double play. Peralta has retired Norris and Reddick in the eighth. 1-2 up on Josh Donaldson. And a foul right into the screen. Peralta worked an inning in Thursday night's game in Baltimore. In the last two games of that series, did not pitch last night. Back in the eighth tonight. Well, the A's have stranded two men, and the Rays have left 5 on, including the bases loaded in the fifth. That's strike 3 call. Donaldson is caught looking. He didn't like it, and we're going to go into the home half of the eighth. Rays lead 1-0.
For our AT Twitter poll, you saw Josh Reddick there. Now, he had the full beard yesterday, so we're going to go with this look. who's got the best beard in sports? You've got hashtag TB1 Josh Reddick, hashtag TB2 James Harden, hashtag TB3 Jason Worth, hashtag TB4 Brett Kiesel. Tweet your votes to @SunSportsRays. And one other update from the Rays minor league system at AAA Durham. They had a doubleheader today. Will Myers did not play in game 1, but his foot is fine, guys, as he hits his first home run as a Durham Bull in game number 2. 1 for 2 so far. Back to you.
Well, the bottom of the 8th is underway with Desmond Jennings leading off. Desmond singled in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. One. One to Desmond. Desmond pulled off the 8th unassisted double play back in the 3rd inning. The fly ball hit by Coco Crisp. Sogard took off running, and Desmond just ran from center field and touched the bag at first on his way to the dugout to complete that unassisted double play. Prior research on Nyjer Morgan needs a little caveat to it. He was credited with an unassisted double play at first, but he never actually touched the bag. Jennings out on strikes. The runner who started the play at first base was called out after passing the runner in front of him. But Nyjer Morgan got credit for the unassisted double play without actually touching the bag. The last time a center fielder completed the unassisted double play by catching a fly ball and then physically recording the put out at first base was Andy Van Slyke of Pirates. It was in July of '92 against Houston. The late Ken Caminiti was the runner. And Andy Van Slyke in July, on July 7th, 1992, pulled the 8 unassisted double play, and that's what Jennings did tonight. In the center, Crisp is there, and Roberts is out number 2.
David Price takes the mound on Tuesday, April the 23rd, against the New York Yankees. You can be a part of the craziest new fan section in Tampa Bay, District K9. Your specially priced ticket includes a lower level seat, a District K9 t-shirt, and a K card. Purchase tickets, visit RaysBaseball.com/District K9.
Ben Zobrist facing Ryan Cook. Cook in relief of Jared Parker. He came to the A's in the same deal with Parker from the Arizona Diamondbacks. It had a base hit in the first. Last night the Rays had 10 hits, the A's had 11, and the Rays won that game 8-3. Fly ball hit deep into right center. Reddick back on the track, and he makes the grab to retire the Rays in the 8th. Our ball game will head into the 9th. Fernando Rodney down there in the bullpen. The Rays will carry this 1-run lead into the top of the 9th.
1-0 lead. Fernando Rodney in the ball game. Coming up on Checkers Rays Live, the post game. Todd and Orestes will be leading the way. We'll be breaking down the performance of Jeremy Hellickson. You'll be let in on Joe Madden's press conference. Kelly Nash will be coming to you from the clubhouse, player interviews.
And here in the ninth, it will be Rodney. Fernando Rodney makes his 6th appearance, holding this 1-run lead, 1-0. With Eric Sogard to lead off, then Crisp and Jaso do up.
You know what? It might have been a real good thing that Joe Madden was able to get Fernando Rodney into the ballgame last night, tighten him up a little bit. He started off a little bit slow, finished strong, so that good fastball back in the zone and the good changeup get him right back on track for this game.
First pitch is a fastball strike taken by Sogard.
When he came into the ball game last night, the command was a little wobbly. Can't have that in a 1-0 game. So,
well, not only the performance, but the timing of his outings had been a little uneven. So I think you're right about last night. The second pitch is 96 fouled off.
I think that he had, since the WBC ended, had been almost a month, and I think he's had 7 appearances with spring training.
Ball and 2 strikes. Sogard lays off the changeup.
That's what allowed Fernando to put together the historic season that he did last year, was the ability to pound the zone. Plus pitches.
Popper, left field line. Joyce, Longoria, and Escobar, and Evan down there makes the catch. Joyce a little tumbled, but he's up and fine. And Evan Longoria down there after that one, taking charge. He was going to get that one.
Well, when you see 2 guys coming together like they were, nobody was giving ground. Could have been a lot uglier, but you're right. Evan Longoria going, eyes on it the whole way. He's going to take it.
So the leadoff man retired, and everybody's okay after that slight collision down there. Crisp takes a strike. Crisp, 3 fly balls, 0 for 3 tonight. 1-1, a fly ball to right, a fly ball to center, and a fly ball to left. Five of 10 against Rodney. Hop, foul. Will it be playable? Molina digging hard, but it's going to be just back in the dugout.
A little assist from Davey Martinez. I'd like to know what Foley said to him right there. Took a little swipe with the glove. Yeah, 1-0 game, no big deal.
Yep. It's a great effort by the Rays again tonight. And here in the 9th inning. A ball, 2 strikes to Crisp. Popper short right. Roberts backing out. There. Oh, and he drops the ball. Roberts had it in his glove, and as he started to caress it, it popped away. And so Crisp reaches. Another look.
Now it looks like he's got a beat on it right there. Just the eyes came away at the last moment. That ball was never made it into the pocket. Rattled around, dropped out.
Roberts charged with an error on the play.
And now you got to look for Coco Crisp on base. A's put him in motion.
Well, he's been very efficient in that department. Jaso takes ball one. He's 4 out of 5 this year. Since he's been in Oakland, he has been among the best base stealers on a percentage basis as well as numbers. And a strike. Back in. That's a fastball at 96. 1-2 to Jaso.
Fastball just exploding into the upper portion of the strike zone. Fernando Rodney, the advantage here at 1-2.
Strike 3, call 98 there. So this is what the Rays have been looking for out of Rodney in terms of velocity. He goes 96 and then up to 98 against Jaso.
Because you put it in a better spot. Boy, the last two really. But that one, hard boring action. Big time velocity, 2 outs.
The hitter is Seth Smith. This hit came in the 4th, a base hit. Step back by Rodney and back in ducks Crisp at first base.
Now the only reason he didn't get banged for a balk right there is the back foot came off the rubber.
Oh, 1 close. Look at that.
We've seen a couple of those where Jim
What's wrong with
Joyce,
that?
yeah, he has that pitch down. Certainly catching most of the plate. Not down from that angle.
Big cut and a miss by Smith. And a changeup. That's the range. 82 to 98. Two and one. Well, we're seeing the Fernando Rodney velocity in this outing. Trying to close it out. Runner goes and the pitch hit on the ground. Roberts with a chance to make the pickup and the throw. Rays win it. It's a 1-0 final. Roberts to Loney on the ground ball by Smith. And Fernando Rodney closes it out in the ninth. A victory for Jeremy Hellickson. An inning out of the bullpen from Peralta and an inning out of the bullpen from Rodney. And the Rays, who got a run in the second inning on a home run by Matt Joyce, take the second game of this series, defeating Oakland tonight 1-0. And Hellickson, who pitched the front 7, put together another outstanding performance